Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Michael. Happy Thursday to everyone. Hope everyone is doing awesome. Mornings with Michael is brought to you for informational and educational purposes only. If you have a personal finance question, you can email us at Michael Lean, Lien, 29 at gmail.com. And with that, let's get to the news. In the world news, bull bear spread in the American Association of Individual Investors AAII weekly survey was negative 11.8% versus negative 20.8% last week. Bulls rise to 29.4 from 24.1. Neutrals fall to 29.4 from 31%. Bears fall from 41.2 to 44.9. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says a federal government default would risk undermining U.S. global economic leadership ahead of the G7 meeting in Japan. And now on to sector news breakdown. Beyond Meat, BYND, quarter one EPS loss, 92 cents versus estimated $1.01. Cheesecake Factory, you're making me hungry. CAKE, first quarter EPS, 61 cents versus 59 cents. Corsair Gaming, CRSR, first quarter EPS 11 cents versus 10 cents. Purple Innovations, PRPL, quarter one adjusted EPS loss 12 cents versus estimate 13 cents. Tapestry, TPR, quarter three EPS 78 cents versus 59 cents. On to Energy, Industrials, and Materials. Alcoa, AA upgraded to perform from neutral at Credit Suisse and makes it a top pick, citing expectations for recovering aluminum prices. Core Mining, CDE, first quarter adjusted EPS 11-cent loss versus estimate of 9 cents. Crane, CR, quarter one adjusted EPS $1.25 versus estimate of 85 cents. Tetra Tech, TTEK, second quarter EPS $1.17 versus estimate of $1.03. On to financials. PacWest Bancorp has been sliding, and they lost 9.5% of their depositors last month. So they have a reason to be sliding, I guess. PACW said on Thursday it had $15 billion worth of immediately available liquidity as of May 10th. Genpact, G, first quarter EPS 68 cents versus 65. Robinhood, quarter one EPS loss 57 cents versus estimate of 61. And it seems like professional money managers are loading up on this issue at the moment. Healthcare, Care DX CDNA, first quarter EPS 11 cents versus estimate of 10 cents. Catalyst Pharmaceuticals, CPRX, first quarter adjusted EPS 41 cents versus 32 cents. Ginkgo Bioworks, DNA, quarter one revenues fell 52% year over year to 80.7 million versus estimate of 71.9 million. Jazz Pharmaceuticals, GAZZ, quarter one EPS 3.95 versus estimate of 4.24. Wow, that's a miss. Steris PLC, STE, fourth quarter EPS $2.30 versus estimate of 2.15. Now on to technology, media, and telecom. Disney shares slide, DIS, 5%. Second quarter adjusted EPS 93 cents versus 93 cents on revenues of 21.815 billion versus estimates of 21.748 billion. So Apple, AAPL supplier Foxconn posted a 56% plunge in quarter one net profit, lagging forecasts in its biggest quarterly fall in 3 years. And said visibility for the full year was limited, said net profit fell to 12.8 billion, 417.17 million below what was expected, and from 29.45 billion year over year. Allegra Microsystems, ALGM, fourth quarter EPS 37 cents versus 36. AppLovin, APP, quarter one revenue forecast topped expectations. Quarter one revenue from 715.4 million from 625.4 million year over year, above estimates of 694.9. Guides quarter two revenues 710 to 730 million versus estimates of 695.7. Desktop Metal DM quarter one EPS loss 16 cents versus estimate of 8 cents. Double Verified DV first quarter EBITDA 35.9 million versus estimate of 29.11 million on revenues of 594 million versus estimate of 118. On to Flex, FLEX, quarter four adjusted EPS 57 cents versus 51. JD.com, JD reported quarter one non-GAAP earnings of 4.76 Chinese renminbi, 69-cent loss per diluted American depositary shares. Sonos, SONO, share slide 20%, second quarter adjusted EPS 4 cents versus a loss of 18 cents. Trade Desk, TDD, quarter one EPS 23 cents versus 12 cents. And finally, Unity Software, quarter one revenues 500 million versus estimate of 481.4. And guides quarter two revenues to 510 to 520 million versus 497.4. And there we have it on the news. And let's share some of our charts. I guess our chart is missing at the moment. Please square that away. Well, welcome back, everybody. Share our screen. The dollar is bouncing today, up 0.61%. Kind of gapped up, actually, even though it's small percentage gapped up to its 50-day moving average. Take a look at what's up with gold. Gold is pulling back a little bit, usually is reverse of what the dollar does. Silver is gapping down pretty strong. We'll have to investigate. It's down like 4% today. So we'll keep looking at that. And off to our cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is off about 2%. Ethereum is off is close to 5%. Our yields are pulling back. It's surprising. 10-year yield is pulling back. It's, I guess, maybe on some of the bank news. Gap down. It's trying to fight back. And let's look at the 20-year. 20-year is off 1.66. Take a look at the 1 to 3 year bonds are up, so the yields are backing off there as well. Looks like a little bit of a gap up here. Take a look at our volatility index. VIX is up slightly this morning. It's up 3.5%. S&P is off just ever so slightly, 0.39%. Our NASDAQ is actually up this morning, 0.1%. The Dow pulling back. The banks are pulling it back a little bit here. And let's look at the IWM, where most of our regional banks are. And it's off a little over 1%. Take a look at energy. Energy is backed off close to 1%. Our explorers as well. Utilities are backing off. Real estate, where everybody's talking about commercial real estate may be the next shoe to drop, is off 1.35%. Communications, which has been our leading sector, had a little bit of pullback to his 10 and 20-day moving average. Now is bouncing. Have to continue to watch that area. Building materials was off. Had been leading here for a little bit, but it continues to pull back. Now it's below its 20-day moving average. Biotech, it is a pretty strong move here. It's got a little bit of profit taking, is off 1.7%. And the other biotech is pulling back as well, pulling back to its 50 and 200-day moving average. Our semiconductors pulling back off 1.5%. Airlines continue to pull back. They're under their 50 and 200-day moving average. They got all the lines are kind of coming together here, all kind of trending lower. Our software, which was up yesterday, looks like it had bounced slightly and is filling the gap today. 80% of gaps fill, and then turn to the previous trend, so we'll have to watch that as well. Financials down as well today. And technology is down as well, retreating at the bounce yesterday, pulling back to its 10-day moving average. So we'll have to watch that. Our oil prices are retreating off like 1.4%. And now let's take a look at what's moving positively up today. Absolute Software. We got a pretty good move there. Wow, that's up 32%. Canadian company provides cloud-based service, secure devices. That definitely did. You must have some big news anyway. We'll have to look further into that. Goodyear Tire and Rubber up nearly 20%. Their earnings came in a few days ago. And look at that volume. Digimarc up 21%. Their earnings came in at negative 45%. Earnings surprise up 4.26%. I guess that's, and that and the guidance. Zero Bio is up 57%. You wouldn't hardly believe it, but it's pretty amazing. And volume has been strong. Sell-offs have been pretty low volume. That's kind of what you're looking for in the stock moving higher. ACV Auctions, digital marketplace for buying and selling used vehicles, is up 22%. AppLovin, we had that in the news. Their earnings a couple of days ago was down 102%, but look at it gapping up today. Huge volume, 2 days in a row. Eaton Vance, closed-end investment fund. It's up just slightly. Maxeon Solar, up 22.5%. Their earnings came in at 132% increase. Earnings surprise of 162%. That'll give you an idea why it's up so much. I'll go over to Corsair Gaming. They were in the news as well, up 11%. Got this little blue dot, which means it's a new high against the S&P 500. And earnings surprise was a negative 1.79, but possibly guidance was better than usual. So let's take a look at what's moving down in the market. Sonos, which also was in the news, gapping down 21.6%. Earnings came in at a negative 85%. Earnings surprise was actually 200% in the positive direction, but not what people were looking for. Sixth Street Space Lending gapping down 4.5%. Disney, which has been in the news, down a little over 8% on a negative 14% earning and a surprise of 34%. Invesco exchange traded fund, looking at the dynamic semiconductor industry, off 1.6%. Beyond Meat, gapping down. It's off 12.9%. Trade Desk, which was in the news, it moved higher in the morning and then has sold off here. Interesting. Their earnings were up 10%. Bloom Energy, which was in the news yesterday, sold off and now continues. It's gapping down again today. Like I've said many times, not too many good things happen under the 200-day moving average. In commercial real estate, Rexford Industrial Realty, a REIT, is off 2.8%. And finally, Docebo is off 13.29%. We'll look at one more here since it was in the news. Volume was pretty strong, even though their earnings were up 119%. And our final review here is Catalyst Pharmaceuticals, which kind of had been a darling earlier in 2021. It's just been having a little trouble moving any higher. This is a precursor, a sign. We have some big red bars here and just couldn't get any volume. So that's Catalyst Pharmaceuticals. Well, thank you for attending. This has been Mornings with Michael for informational and educational purposes only. Go out there and keep working on your goals and your activities, and together we'll turn this economy around. So everybody have a great Thursday. We'll catch you Friday as we wrap up the week. Go out there and do your best.